Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Hey, the camera worked this time. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it does, but this time it works. We had a pretty big move overnight. China data, I think, kind of spooking everybody out. Treasuries really moved up. Index is kind of coming down. Not as much. This is kind of a tricky one for me because we definitely have some trend and we can catch some trend off of this. And I think that the macroeconomics of it could push us a lot further, but it's already moved a lot. So there's the open right there. And the very first move was a downtick and a bunch of orders hitting into 23 half and getting caught by the iceberg. So I am just kind of gonna hold off here. My charts are actually still loading. You know, I haven't been doing a very good job at coming in and starting the stream early. But thank you for those of you guys that are on the ball and hop into the channel real quick. Let's just pull up all of our links here. We do have here in 10 minutes retail sales data. And I'm pretty concerned that they're not going to be good. What are they looking for? We're looking for a reading of spot 7% versus previous reading of 1.2%. With the overall retail sales number at spot 2. That first one was the core number. Also, Empire State Manufacturing Index, we're looking for a reading of 8.2. Okay. Well, let's move that just a little bit. Well, quite a bit hit into that. But it didn't just go. This is probably going to be a really big iceberg there. Why half is such a small thing? It's probably going to be a pretty big iceberg right there. Oh, that bird can hear my wife moving around upstairs. He's already squawking. And now the dogs. Now the dogs are doing it too. I should just go run over there. Yeah, shut up. Oh, she's coming down. She's taking care of it. Okay, well, there's a downtick again. They only traded 6,000. Interesting. I suppose that's good for us if we could get a little bit of a pullback here. It's still loading. Ninja, why you load so long? Why you take so long to load? Ooh, ow. Ow. You see that 4K? Just like that. That was one order. Oof. That was ugly, folks. Something doesn't sound right to me. Does everything sound okay to you guys? It's up there. Well, that's a little high, actually. And just turn this up a little bit so I can hear myself talk. Yeah, Uzi, oof. I hope none of you were long on that. That looked nasty. That kind of looked, well, I mean, who knows what happened, but I'm kind of thinking here, why would you do something like that? We do have news in 7 minutes. Maybe you want to be long. You kind of got to scare some people out of the trade before the news comes, and so maybe you hit it really hard to really get people to sell into you. Uzi, okay. When you said oof, I was like, no, not Uzi, please. Just gearing up so flatly flat. That was ugly move down, though. Pretty ugly. So that right there kind of is exactly the sort of thing that I think we've got to be looking for today, though, is that, yeah, we're getting some pretty strong trend, but the sharks are out there and they are messing with us. So I don't think that we can just, FOMO into every high and take them as she goes. And I think that we really need to get the really good risk reward location on these, because that you don't want to get caught in one of those. No, sir. And we do have the news. Get rid of these notifications. 22 goes offer. Not super strong, but I think that we probably could take back down to this area right here at 21. Looks like there's a lot of volume that traded there. Why is Ninja Trader taking so long? So I think that Ninja must have crashed or something, because they had taken too long. So we're going to kill it. Die, Ninja, die. Okay. There's a decent amount trading into 22 now and iceberging there as well. Maybe somebody just really wanted to sell. Also, this liquidity, I'm going to highlight that one in Discord too. Seems like somebody is setting something up for the open. Are they doing anything similar in the 10-year? Maybe a little... No, not really. That liquidity down there. Can you see that? Right there? Kind of as we moved down to this spot, and then it stacked up there. So I think somebody is short. I think somebody is short. At a glance, ZB is trading above yesterday's value. Sellers challenging 15. The news may send us back down to 149.16 if it gets the sellers going. Yesterday's low volume down at 05 and so far untested. Good morning, Ron. And good morning, Dr. Gurr. Sorry I didn't see you there earlier. 2 whole minutes. I'm off today, folks. I'm off. Did you start trading micro ES? I took one trade in micro ES the other day. So yeah. You notice how each day has been trading higher than the previous ones for the last 8 days or so. Kind of. Yeah, man, I really want to load my how come my Ninja Trader workspace didn't open up? What's wrong? No, don't save that. Ninja Trader is so jacked up right now, folks. It opened up and like the workspace is like gone. It's completely gone. I'm gonna be mad if I have to reload all of these. Let's just make a new one. What the fuck? What the fuck? Man, I have to remake all these charts. What the heck? Ugh. Hmm. That sucks. Yeah, it loads up stuff, but it's not. It's, that's so lame. There's the trade that we took yesterday. Oh no, that was the trade that the auto trader took. Ah. Okay, so here's the news. Mm. So lots of comments here. Hold on a second, folks. Let's get the news here. Okay, Canadian CPI was as expected at 2.0%. Give me the retail sales. Okay, Empire State Manufacturing Index was very high, 17.8 versus an expected 8.2. But a lot of long volume coming in here. Okay, retail sales was a negative spot 2 versus an expected spot 2. That was the regular retail sales. I'm waiting for the core number. The core is everything excluding automobiles. Still not seeing that number yet. X Auto was spot 1 versus an estimated spot 7. What's wrong with NinjaTrader, man? My workspace, it's gone. Okay, so a little bit of a rush up, but they just came back up into that same spot. I don't really need my charts, but it kind of bothers me. That's neither. Okay, so let's see what, because I saw a couple of questions here. Let's look at that. Look at that. Okay, so did you start trading micro? Yes, I think I answered that, but I took one trade in the micro, yes. But I've been having a hard time finding a spot that I'm comfortable with over there, so I haven't taken very many. Lucas, you notice how each day has been trading higher than the previous ones for the last 8 days or so? Yeah. Well, we're definitely getting some trend up, and we're still not above December's highs, are we? So I don't see any reason why it can't keep going. I think that what happened was I never saved my workspace, and so when I killed NinjaTrader, I literally lost all my charts. That really sucks. That really sucks. Okay. New chart. ZN. 30-minute chart. Load 15 days. Candlestick. You have to change all the colors and shit too. Gosh. Orange. Cornflower blue. Okay. theories. I don't need to see the executions. I really hate the way that Ninja Trader shows executions because it just gets so messy. Okay, so there's our chart. There's our chart of that. I think we duplicate this in a new window and let's set it to like the daily. Okay, so we are above March. Okay, so we're not quite above March. Okay. J constant stock market equals up. Do you think a global recession is coming very soon? I'm still not so sure. I mean, I want to stay positive, folks. I want to stay I think there's a real risk though. There's definitely a real risk. And I think that the probability that the Federal Reserve is going to have to reduce interest rates is pretty high. And ZB near term supply and demand levels. I don't like the way that it's ticking. They're giving up points way too easily. I don't want to remake all my charts, guys. Not right now. All right. Well, you know what? Why did I make that daily one on a new thing? I want to duplicate in a new tab. The daily. All right. Let's get ourselves a one range chart here. One. Making boxes. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so there's that move down we had. And here's been the news. Look at how choppy it is. Ugh. Ugh. So choppy. Well, I think, well, I could try one more thing. Is there a way to import a, oh, I don't know how to do it. Sucks. 150.06 is untested weekly value high from back in March. Big players are moving size overnight based on trade war. So, I think it's a little bit different than that. Obviously, there's a trade war and there's concerns about it deepening, but I don't think that we've read anything today that makes us believe that it's more likely that we're going to have a trade war or less likely or anything like that. I think that what's happening is that the data out of China shows that even though in the US we got a good bump in February and March, things are still pretty ugly, especially in China, and the trade war is really, really hurting them, I think. Now, I suppose in some respect that is good for the United States, like, or rather, not. I don't want to say good for the United States. I mean, it's better that it's bad for the Chinese, but what I mean to say is that the how do I say this? The chances of a trade war are maybe slightly less because the Chinese are already feeling it. Does that make sense? One theory. The thing that's interesting is these numbers came out they were bad. We did see some really strange trades going into this. We did go higher. Let's see here. The high was 24.5. We've traded both sides of that. The weekly value on ZB isn't following the price up very well, so to be honest, longs should be careful up here. I mean, barring any surprises, I wouldn't be surprised if we fall from here. Yeah. And they've taken some pretty aggressive sells as well. Like somebody sold there at 24. Well, there's the E-mini is going down. I really kind of was like, the Treasuries moved more than the E-mini today. Maybe I should take it over there, but then now it's moving again. Okay. So now over here, ugh, I hate this. Setting up the charts is really annoying sometimes. Okay. First of all, preset range, save. Okay. Indicators. So we want bands, sims, cumulative delta. Yeah, that's all correct. And my spread indicator, where's my spread indicator? And we'll just make it ZNZB. ZB 0619. Okay. And I have to turn on tick replay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Not quite what I expected, but everything looks correct there. The VWAP bands, we're not actually like that high on a relative basis right here compared to, you know, the average range compared to where we're at from, like, it seems like, man, we're really far away from VWAP, but relatively speaking, we're not. This is pretty turbulent, though. I guess it's okay. I guess we're okay here. I can calm down and take my time. Get rid of this body outline on these candles. I hate that. Okay. And add on the volume profile thing. Where is it? Cams. If sellers quit up here, then I have no other upside references. Ooh, yeah. What is your favorite chart making music? So if you something that, I mean, I don't know. We played around with playing music a little bit, and I think we kind of decided not to do it. I think it's probably better for me. Maybe I could listen to music on my own, but probably for you guys, because maybe you have your own music you want to listen to it. And so it's probably better for me to keep my stream just my voice. But the entire Anjuna Beats catalog, well, not the entire one, but like 300 of their songs are available. Like, you can stream them, no problem. And that's really cool. And they're my favorite label. I love Anjuna Beats. That is my music. That's kind of weird. All sorts of things are messed up. Okay. So my cams, I got a good preset set on my cams, so that's good. uh, Duplicate in new tab the ES. Where are you? Okay. Ooh, okay. So now we can see where we are at on the ES, and I can see that they have plenty of room to sell. Wrong misstand down move in NQ. Would like to have probably have sold it a little bit earlier, but I was panicking. I was panicking. It's really all I can say. Um, hmm. Correction, there is March's high at 150.21. It'd blow me away if we got up there today. Well, I don't know. This is kind of interesting to me that there was so much action. We've had so much overnight range. We can totally move, but they're not really trending very well right now, are they? XMR if you want a super rock with the superstar. Zbera and Rothschild. I love that name. We need all the globalists in here. Just as long as they don't steal my children, it's okay. But I do think I find the conspiracy theories around the globalist cabal, especially the Rothschilds, kind of interesting. But at the same time, I also feel so now kind of the controversial thing that maybe some of you guys might not like, but I also feel like that um, a lot of those ideas or rumors or whatever are due to regular people that just don't understand markets, don't understand wealth, and they're making up things. Like I think that most of these rich people are trying to be good people, but I think that they understand that they've been given a lot of money, and part of your responsibility under capitalism when you have a lot of money is to grow so that other people can have jobs, Mm, anyways, did Trump tweet today? I'm not good at keeping up with that goofy shit unless Seth mentions it. So let's switch over. Let's look over here. Okay, he has not tweeted for about 18 hours. So what was the last tweet? Was a retweet by Eric Trump. Mayor de Blasio, spare me. You and your dad have spent decades evading taxes and stifling your workers. New York City's Green New Deal is one law the Trumps won't get away with breaking. Eric Trump, spare me. First, you have never created a job in your life. Second, our great city has gone to shit under your leadership. Crime is up. The men and women of the New York Police Department detest you. Homelessness is rampant. Our streets are dirty, and people are leaving our city in record numbers. Ooh, that one was kind of really mean spirited, even for them on Twitter. Interesting. But that was the last thing that Donald Trump tweeted. I skied with Lady Emma Roseberry in St. Anton AM Arborg 6 years ago. Now you tell me who she. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that name before. But it is clearly a member of the globalist cabal, right? Clearly. Is that what I don't understand? Well, it's kind of the politics of it, right? It's like you know, you're more likely to be a part of certain parties based on your background and where you come from. Like for me, I think that my personality, like my, genetic personality, I think that I'm relatively open. Um, I like to entertain new ideas and I like to meet new people. And I do think that, if we were like in caveman times, that I would like to live like out on the edge where I could more likely to meet people from other tribes and stuff. Um, but I live in Utah, so I grew up conservative. Most of the people that I talk to, like most of my Facebook friends and stuff, are very, very liberal. I love arguing with my liberal friends. I think that a lot of them are really smart people. Um, but I also know things about markets then, and there's just too many things about the way that markets and capitalism works that I feel the Democrat Party is just completely tilted against right now, that I could never be a Democrat. But there are a lot of those really rich people, like the Rothschilds. Quote, soon we go to war with Russia. I have trade deals with Raymond Redding. I don't know who that is either. Uh, but anyways, a lot of those rich people are Democrats. But then on the other side of the scale, all of the minorities and um well, let's just say all of the minorities are Democrat too. Like that's kind of their coalition. And the Republican Party is kind of seeming to turn more into like the middle class and white people. And I don't quite understand that dichotomy. It seems to me like that mm, Raymond Reddington is the blacklist on NBC. Okay. It seems to me like that there's going to be some political realignment, that there are certain groups that aren't very well served by their current parties that are going to leave. Like I do not think this whole thing, like the Democrats are like, there's the demographic reality in America is going to get rid of the Republicans, and I'm not so sure that that's going to continue. I'm not sure that Democrats can hold on to the vast majority of the Latino and African American population. I think that they're going to start thinking that Republicans are more in their interest. And similarly, on the Republican side, I'm not so sure that they can hold on to all of the prudes in the Republican Party. Because the prudes are on the Democrat side right now. Anyways, but we started with that talking about the globalists. So it's always, why is it that the globalists tend to be more Democrat? Because we're always told that the Republicans only want to serve the rich. So then wouldn't all of the rich vote Republican? But I don't think that they do. They are puppets. Money is power, and who controls the money? Oh, I guess really they control both parties, right? The globalist cabal does. That's why they keep trying to get rid of Donald Trump, right? That's the Okay, so here Donald Trump did just tweet something about Joe Scarborough at Real Donald Trump looks 20 years younger than a lot of Democratic candidates. Thank you, Joe, and remember, the brain is much sharper also. Then there's that picture of Joe Biden. He's kind of going like this. Here, I'll show you. Look at that picture of Joe Biden. Yes. So Uzi says there, both sides serve the rich. Republicans tend to serve regular people becoming rich. Democrats serve the super rich and surrounding them with disenfranchised slave labor. Ah, yes. I don't want to sound. I'm trying to avoid saying things that are too crazy, too. I don't, and not even crazy, but too partisan, because everybody has different views, and I don't want it to be like if you're a Democrat, you just absolutely hate listening to this stream. But I definitely think there's something to like the slave labor thing, like the super rich feel like that they need to have their little, their housemates and yard workers or something. Every rich area that I've been to, that's what they do. So they pay minorities to clean their houses, and there's like a little ghetto out on the outside of the rich suburb. Nate Silver tweets, "Is Trump an outlier?" Has a little article there. Man, this move is so weird. They are holding down here. There is some big liquidity. I'm not feeling super on. Oh, why did that show up over there? Okay, cool. Let's make sure that that's all set correct. I want 200 girlfriends and 5 islands. Man. Talking politicians, not like regular Democrat voters. However, you can't help but notice how when arguing about immigration policies, Democrats always paint immigrant labor as fruit pickers. Well, isn't it? There's kind of an so here was something I had a thought I had yesterday. I need to fix my mouse cord here. XMR engine on. If you think about it, okay, a lot of the farm labor that we get right now comes from illegal immigration. 100% it does. Okay, I worked out in the boonies when I was a missionary in Kansas and Missouri, and those big farms, the ones that were doing well, they would hire illegal immigration, and I did see there was a couple of white people that were doing it. But those were usually people that were like down on their luck, unless of course they owned it. There was somewhere the family just owned the whole farm, and that's a little bit different. But so if a lot of it is coming from illegal immigrant labor, and the U.S. government subsidizes farming a ton, then shouldn't the logical conclusion be that in a completely fair and free market that is functioning the way that we say, or at least that the way that Republicans would say it should be run, that food prices should be much, much higher than they are today? How do you, deal with that? That girl who was complaining about Trump closing the borders and arguing who's going to clean your toilet, Mr. Trump. Kelly Osbourne, yeah. There's totally, I really hate that, because here's the thing. Here's my thing about illegal immigration. It's always been a top priority in my mind, in my political life, because I was a missionary for the LDS Church in Kansas City, Missouri, and for 1 month, because they had an odd number of Spanish missionaries, so for 1 month, I was a Spanish missionary. And I never got super good at speaking it, but I knew enough that I could understand what people were saying, at least. As long as they weren't using tons of slang, which, man, Mexicans use so much slang. And it really bothered me. It bothered me so much because I really liked these people. They were so nice to me. They thought I was too skinny. We'd go over to their house and they would feed me so much food. Like literally, they would just force me. They would force feed me to eat until I was about to puke. And they're really hardworking people. And I'm like, man, anybody that works this hard and they have good values and everything. They could do anything really with their lives if they wanted to. And they could be really successful. And this is exactly the kind of person that you want in America. Person that's going to come, that's going to work hard, start businesses, make opportunity for other people. But they can't because they're here illegally. And so the most that they can do is, work for cash, sit over at the Home Depot and wait for somebody to hire you on for the day. That sort of a thing, Like it's not okay that they're here and they're basically can't do anything. And that came down and back up very quickly. I'm still a little wary of it. Anyways, I would like to see, I would like to see it where there's not illegal immigration, of course. But I would also like to see that those people have the opportunity to work hard and not have any kind of limitation placed on them. And when I hear these things like Democrats come in and say, well, who's going to do this job? Nobody else is going to do it. It pisses me off so much because I'm like, you know what? These people are so much harder working than so many of you snooty Democrats saying this sort of stuff. They should be doing the job that you're doing, and you should be doing the job that they're doing. If life was fair, And really, if maybe we could get rid of, not get rid of, but I think that we could have some adjustments to some of our labor laws so that young people could do those jobs, because those would be great jobs for teenagers, and teenagers that have a hard time finding work nowadays. A lot of average Democrats, when you argue immigration legit, paint immigrant labor as slave labor. You never hear them talk about doctors or lawyers or data scientists when they talk about immigrants. Yeah. Well, and they're using the FISA process too, right? Like, look at in the computer science industry, they are so short on workers for computer science. They are literally doing everything that they can to try and devalue the worth of programming, because right now programming is like at minimum 70K you're making doing computer programming. And I think that if they had their way, if a lot of business owners could have their way, that they would make it be like a $50,000 job. And so they're trying to find ways, like they've been saying, hey, you don't necessarily have to have gone to college to be a good computer programmer. You can just go to a weekend class and do it, sort of a thing. Because they want it to be worth less. Boot camps are making the field a disservice for those who went to college, right? Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that's I find interesting about it is that there is an argument to be had that we ask too much of our computer programmers, that a lot of the daily work that I do at my job is sitting and waiting around for something to compile, or just getting all of the settings to be set to what they really are supposed to be, and isn't necessarily a deep dive into an algorithm. But I do have to do that as well. And so I think that there could be different levels. I definitely think that there's plenty of space for junior programmers, and that many of those junior programmers could have come from a tech college or a boot camp program or something like that. But you don't want to go down the path of making all of your programmers like that, because there is just a lot of details in the program that those people just aren't going to know. They're just not going to know, and you might not see it right away as a manager, but in the long run, when you don't hire good people, that you really suffer. Your business really suffers, and you end up with software that isn't very maintainable and doesn't do the job that it's supposed to do. They're really selling this. I'm glad that I've been wary of this and just kind of stayed out. I feel like I am missing something on my chart here, but I'm not sure what it is. Get rid of the VWAP band thing so that I can see the name of things. I hate that. Get rid of that. Get rid of the label on that. Get rid of the label on that. Okay. And CB. Okay. Let's see if I can get these the right size. I mean, in the past, I've spent so much effort trying to make sure that my windows are like exactly the right sizes and stuff. But there's no way I'm going to be able to get that to work out today, so. Okay, so there is some significant absorption here at 21.5. For them to come back down here, we've got a real VWAP trade opportunity here. Okay, we're in the dead time zone though, so I don't want to be touching it right now. Okay, let's make another new chart. ES. We'll make this one a tick chart. 150 tick. Shouldn't we be more like 500 tick? Yeah. Now I gotta go and change all the colors because I'm too lazy to set up the templates correctly. Okay, cornflower blue. And get rid of the candle body outline. I wish that they had a way in their regular candlestick charts in NinjaTrader that you could set the outline for the candle differently for up bars and down bars. That drives me nuts. Okay, good. So there's that. There's the E-mini. And I will add onto that the delta and the VWAP bands. Let's just get rid of that and template save. Okay. This has to be tick replay as well. And I'll duplicate this one in a new window And it's the E-mini that gets so screwed up. Is doing the tick replay on the E-mini is just expensive. Okay. 6J. Good. Okay. So now I feel like I'm getting a good idea of what's going on here. No time scroll. Okay. Cool. Good morning, Ace. Bitcoin is NSA money. Why is that? That is like a conspiracy theory I hear so often. Do you think I should take it there at 22.5? I'm a little suspicious still. I hear that one so often, and I just don't see any evidence for that. Okay, so now I can show you my charts here. It is not set up quite the same. I'm gonna have to go back and look at yesterday's video and be like, okay, so what's different? What did I do differently? But you can see here, this move down correlated very strongly with a pretty big dip in the 6J, although everything appears to be moving extremely correlated. Michael Pledger. So we're trading, and let me go back to my main screen. We are trading E-mini futures and Treasury futures. You really think the big businesses will show all their transactions and the whole business? No, but there's ways to make cryptocurrencies encrypted, right? There's going to have to be a real discussion at some point about what information should be showed, because I like being able to see all of the information on the blockchain and being able to make calculations based off of that. But I don't think that I should be able to go into any one individual address and see all of their transactions, you know. Well, they're buying it up, man. Maybe I missed my opportunity. I just don't like this time frame. I just don't like taking a trade in this time frame. I think that I need to just cool my jets and gather my bearings here, because we did have, you know, pretty crazy moves. Ace says you got filled but need a tight stop. What did you take? Did you take it short? I think I might take it short here in the E-mini. I don't know if this is the best spot to do it though. See that? Oh, did you click? Did you go short? Oh, 28.21. Yeah, way up there. Well, if we come back up there, maybe I would take one. Sorry, so I'm a little off because NinjaTrader crashed on me, and then when I reloaded it, it killed all of my charts. So I think that I've got my charts set up the same way now, but something just seems different. I don't know. It's kind of a weird day anyways though, so. Let's get rid of the tabs on these ones where we don't need it. Okay. And then this one right here, I do want to duplicate in new tab and put on my fancy little indicator. Oh, actually, I just do it. Yeah, I'll do it like that. I keep it over here. But this one needs to be like a volume chart. Yeah, volume is fine. Don't need that. Actually, don't need any of those. And cumulative. There we go. Okay, cool. I think that's right. Where's the strategy? 1000 volume, 16 period. Change that. Okay. Guess I should have turned that on too. And there's your 2. Oh, good job. Treasury is not really moving up so much on that move. I think there could be a lot more selling though. Let's kind of let them do their open. And maybe after maybe they'll have a little bit of fighting on the open. Okay. I think that's right. I didn't remake all of them. Like I only have the volume profile for ZN and ES. Now it's moving. Yeah. It might be a little too late, but let's try. Nope. There's a lot trading here. Altcoins pumped as predicted. I don't even have my Bitcoin chart up. Oh my gosh, that's another one I need. That one I have to like make from scratch. Okay, I like the way that I got filled. That's okay. Well, they're still kind of up by 8,000. So, whatever. I really think that what cryptocurrencies are doing right now seems irrational. So there's a lot of liquidity above me. Actually, we should move this to here. But I might just take this one really small. Okay. Ace is gonna set his stop and go make food. Okay, so 25 half pulled there. XRP looks like it's about to run up into the 3 USD area. And we got an uptick and the 26 half pulled. A new high in Treasuries is starting to look very likely. They never quite made it back to the VWAP, but they definitely bounced there, man. Yeah, look at the 5 year. It's just kind of getting sucked up almost. Like they're not even necessarily pushing, they're just kind of getting pulled up there. Okay, so a little bit of profit taking at 26 in the 10 year. There's a new high in the 5 year. There's a big iceberg at 26. I thought you were reading out of your crystal ball. The question is, how long can cryptocurrencies keep this up? Because they are extremely overbought. Ooh, are you going to get a 10K? Ooh. Hey, look at that. So we just busted through a 10K order. And normally we are going to go through it. Maybe for at least a tick. But as soon as it ticked up, there was 2,000 sold into it, and they sucked it all up. So that's pretty bullish. And the 5 year is pushing. I think we should reset this because the ZF is not quite there. Okay, so ZF is not, and the spread is moving in our direction as well. That the 5 and the 10 are moving more than the 30. Okay, are they going to trade a ton here at 26 half as well? Fascinating. Okay, pretty big iceberg there, but they didn't get through that one. Some big profit taking for sure. Equities are kind of looking a little dicey now all of a sudden. Like they're just skidding along the bottom. Okay. Can you explain what are all of these numbers? Sure. So the blue column are limit orders looking to buy at that price. The red column are limit orders looking to sell at that price. The two inside columns are the market orders hitting into that, right? So this one right here, if I can highlight it for you, that are market buys buying into the limit orders at 26 half. And this one is market sells selling into 26. So basically, when it ticks up and when it ticks down, I can see how many contracts it took to clear. So I can see they're bidding and offering between 500 and 1,000 at 26. It ticked down and they were offering about 500. Okay, so there they are right there. And then they trade it back up and they're bidding about 500. So this price is like really balanced right now. Or rather, there is some degree of agreement where buyers and sellers are willing to hit into it at that spot right there. See? And I can see how much it took. So that time it took 933 to trade it up. And that's how that's one of the things that I look at. So where we're at right now, I think it's, well, hold on a second. Okay, we've been in at 6 minutes. Uzi says geez, but Ace says geez with a J. Okay, so now there's 23 being offered, right? That's a change. And I think that happened because the 5-year ticked down. And, you know, the E-mini has pulled back a little bit. So I think I might move my limit order down here just because I know that there's some agreement at that price, and I become unsure. There you go. Hope you enjoy, hope you liked that, Mr. Buyer, sir. Okay. So they kind of put it down. I think that there's somebody is still accumulating at 26. But I'm okay with taking my order off there because it is a balanced area, and I'm not really sure if they're going to move up or down from here. And we're kind of like just before the E-mini open is kind of a sketchy time. So I got 2 ticks out of that. I wasn't expecting a ton. I thought maybe we would get a new high, but since we didn't just go right through it, I think that taking the profit is appropriate. And they really are kind of hovering around here waiting for the open of the equities. Oh, look at that. Okay, so now maybe they are going to go. So they took that 26.5 pretty quickly and aggressively. No level break set up there at 26.5 though. So what I'm looking for there, I'll try and be a little bit more descriptive today because we are getting a lot of newer people in the markets lately. Right here at 26.5, when you tick up to the high, sometimes what you will see is a bunch of people sitting there with limit orders looking to buy it. They will buy it there at 26.5, and then they will lift the offer and hit into 27 and 27.5 and try and take us up into 28. And so at that time they didn't do it. Only 900 contracts to sell down. So there really was not that much buyer interest there at 26.5. And now you can see they've already come back down a tick. So that move up was what do we say? I don't want to say like an aberration, but it was outside of the norm. They pulled some of their liquidity and let it get up there, possibly because somebody wanted to sell it. They're moving it around, trying to get people to take orders in a bad spot. So that time, the buyer was not looking to hit it. That's kind of how I look at it. We did get a new high, but it was only by a tick, right? 19 went in 27, and that's finished. That's a finished auction as well. You really like to talk about that XMR, but I really don't think that anybody here cares. Just saying. No, I'm not trying to like slam on you or anything like that. It's just I've noticed in the cryptocurrency community that there's very much this feeling that like, okay, they realize that for a cryptocurrency to go up, that other people buy it. And so like everybody that's involved in the currency needs to be like PR for that coin and trying to convince everybody to buy it and all that sort of stuff, right? And all I'm saying is that kind of an effort here isn't going to get you anywhere because, number one, my indicator says that you shouldn't be buying cryptocurrencies at all. And most of these guys are trading more serious stuff, right? So if it's doing something interesting and you can see some sort of unusual behavior that might mean something, and it's not like even trying to make a prediction, but we look at the sort of things that I point out. I'll point out, okay, we made a new high in cumulative delta, but we didn't make a new high in price. Okay, well, we did by a tick. But there's some divergence between the price and the deltas there, right? That's something unusual. So I just pointed out, not trying to predict anything, but just to point it out. And those are the things that in our chat room, people tend to be more interested in and or more helpful to people, really. Because, everybody has their own strategies and you're going to be buying their own stuff anyways, right? Like, you're trying to, like, not be affected by other people. But that doesn't mean that there's not information out there that might be interesting to you, and maybe you see that and you go, oh, that actually might be something that I can incorporate into my system because it solves a problem that I've been having. When it gets a new high. And how do I tell if that, because then I think, oh, it's going to keep going and it doesn't. And how can I tell? Well, maybe that's one of the ways that you can tell, is that there was a decent amount of cumulative delta on that move up. A decent amount. Lots of selling there, though. They're absorbing it, but there's a lot of selling. It seems like they're puking out. And the equities are buying here on the open. Not super strong, but... Well, Jesus... Jesus, shorthand for Jesus, so I spell it with a J, plus Ace is so smart and regularly handsome, I'd go with what he says. I mean, I've always used a G. Good marketing usually works, right? Well, it does. I don't know. Like that's one of my problems with the cryptocurrency is do you really want to be in an asset where the only way that you make money is because more people after you buy it? You know what I mean? Like, I just think about the way that I trade, right? Okay, I like trend. And so I really like it when it's like, hey, it comes up here to the high. Some people might think that it's strong. I can buy it here one tick below the low, and then maybe some people are going to come in and rush and make a new high. I love that kind of trade. But I know that all of the professionals and everybody else is looking at it, right? And so the question going through my head always has to be, how early am I to the party? If we're down here, like if I had taken that trade down at 22, I would have been one of the first people into it, long. And so I have a really good position. It's going to be harder for them to push me out. And I can kind of sit and let it ride, and I could be up here at 26 and I could be saying, hey, I think they might make a new high, but if they don't, it's okay. I'm still going to make money because I was early, right? But when it gets up there to the top, you have to be saying, okay, if I buy it as she goes, so if I set a stop order to trigger at 27, like if I did this, if I did that, I put a stop order trigger at 27 to enter me into the trade if they pull at 27, okay? Then I'm like one of the last people in there. And so I have to be sure that other people are coming in behind me. And am I really that sure that I'm like that ahead of the curve, that there's really going to be that many people behind me? It's just not as good of a trade when you think about it that way, right? Because you're relying on more people coming that you don't actually know exist out there. Whereas if I'm like the first person in the trade, or there's something else going on that I know is going to push it up, like you know, I can see that one of the currencies is moving. Some new trade news comes out, that sort of a thing, you know. Then I know that it can just run, and I know that the big guys are going to be so caught and are going to be panicking and trying to get in that I can, you know, that it's just going to go, right? So for me, if I was going to trade something long term, like a cryptocurrency, I don't think that I would want to be here at 8,000 after basically everybody that is really involved in the cryptocurrency thing. Like all of those guys are long. Like realize all those guys, yes, before this week, nobody came in here and talked about cryptocurrencies. I mean, I would mention it every day with my chart, and I have the Patreon. If you haven't checked out the Patreon, you definitely have to click the Patreon and read the posts, because I make the posts public after a week. So you can see what we've been doing and what it's been saying, and you can see the edge in it, right? Although in this particular situation, it's not, you know, it's been saying it's overbought. So in this kind of situation, it's like, it's good if you're already long. It's telling you that maybe it's wise to take profits here. But otherwise, you know, you kind of just get to sit and watch it, which is what I'm doing. But anyways, all of those people have bought into it now at this point. Do you really want to be buying it here? Because there's a very high probability that you end up being the bag holder when it sells. And based on the data that I have and the way that this has behaved in the past when we've gotten to these kinds of levels, if it does sell, it is going to be extremely aggressive. I can tell you food prices are about to rise because I follow trends. Well, I think that fundamentals do kind of favor food prices rising, perhaps too, don't they? This is going to be, food prices is going to be interesting. Depends on if you are swing trading or day trading. Well, that's for sure. But I think even with swing trading, it's kind of a similar sort of a thing, right? Because when you swing trade, if you're watching the volume, you can say, okay, I can see each swing has about this many traders that are participating in it. I don't necessarily have to be the first one into the trade, because I have a much higher time frame, and I know that higher time frame participants will come in after me, and they can move the price. They really came back down again. Well, I really lucked out there with the getting the 2 ticks up there, didn't I? Why do all crypto lovers conveniently have so many conspiracy theories about the economy? It's almost like the community brings together people who are skeptical about what has been working for centuries, right? Well, here's the thing about it, is that it seems to me that cryptocurrencies is, in some people's minds, become a hedge against central banking, right? And I'm not quite sure what conspiracy theory Lucas is speaking to specifically, but the people that are involved in cryptocurrencies generally tend to not like the Federal Reserve. And they think that the Federal Reserve is stealing wealth from us little guys. Now, myself, that's where I think that I'm very unique in the cryptocurrency community, because I'm a treasury trader. I love the Federal Reserve. I think that Jerome Powell is a nice guy that's trying to do the best that he can for the world, and unfortunately, his communication skills have fallen short a little bit here, and they do appear, in my mind at least sometimes, to be behind the curve. But I think that the United States is generally better Because we have the Federal Reserve. The financial system today is so much more stable than it was in days past. I remember when, this first started, and back in 2008, 2010 time period, and we were still kind of in a recovery, and we were saying, if something bad happened, like during the Euro crisis, and we have another recession, things could be really crazy, right? And you know what? We had some pretty crazy stuff. Like, really, when you think about it, the Euro crisis was just as crazy, if not more crazy, than what happened in the 2008 crisis. It's just that it happened to be in Europe. Definitely agree on the financial system being a lot more stable now. Yeah. We went through something that was possibly more crazy, but because we had changed so many things about the financial system, the Federal Reserve was on the ball, all of those things, we did not go into a recession. We have had 10 plus years now of growth, just growth, unprecedented stability and growth. And during that 10-year time period, we have dealt with numerous financial crises. We say, well, we haven't had a financial crisis in 10 years. It's not true. We haven't had a recession in 10 years. But we have had at least 5 financial crises because the Eurozone thing happened twice. And then there was that whole temper tantrum and the weird stuff that was happening in markets before Donald Trump got elected. And now we've had the volatility crash in February of last year. And then we had the trade war crash in May. And now we're having another, and then we had a trade war crash in December. And now we're having another one. And people think that those are just kind of bumps in the road. But before 2008, any one of those particular things probably could have sent us into a recession. But the financial system is so stable that it doesn't happen. And go back and you look even further back, like in the 1800s when we didn't have a central bank, when Andrew Jackson got rid of it and we had that time period where there was no central bank at all, was the most financially turbulent times in history. The United States would have a boom and bust literally every 5 years. And when I say bust, it was like 2008 or worse, like literally everything comes out, right? And then we made the central bank. The central bank completely misunderstood its purpose the first time and didn't print money. And so they made the Great Depression just absolutely terrible. Okay. But then since that time, the financial system has only become more and more stable, right? So when I think about Bitcoin, is there a need for to get rid of, because the whole idea here is we're all going to use Bitcoin and we're not going to have a central bank. That's a very, very bad idea. You're taking the most stable financial system we have ever had, and you're replacing it with the most unstable financial system that we have ever had. Bitcoin is a bubble machine. I mean, come on. We're talking about an asset that decreases like 80%. It can decrease 80% like literally overnight. And of course, I think the response to that is, well, yes, but as Bitcoin becomes more used, the bubbles will become less severe. But I don't think that the history shows that will be the case. Because as Bitcoin has become more popular, the volatility has only become worse. Because you get more people trying to buy into it to make money, but they don't hold it. It doesn't hold those prices. And so I don't think that you want, and not only that, but it's deflationary. So what would happen if the world economy was based on Bitcoin and then something bad happened and we had a recession? Everybody's going to sell their Bitcoin because there's going to be less economic activity. The price of Bitcoin's not going to be as high. They're going to sell it price is going to tumble. And if the whole world economy is tied to that, it's just going to make things worse, right? Paper money is a derivative of gold. Digital money is a derivative of paper. Anyways, I don't think he said anything in particular that I thought was wrong. It was just kind of like the idea of it. I'm kind of arguing against cryptocurrency in general, not any one person. So let's not jump on him or anything like that. But to me, the idea of replacing the monetary system with Bitcoin is bad idea. But I do see the use of it, because if I want to make an escrow payment for my house and you have to do the money transfer and everything, it costs a ton of money to do a transfer like that, and it takes a really long time. And it was like doing that for my house, that was a complete mess. And if you could do that with Bitcoin, you send it, 10 minutes is done. Boom. See? That's a very powerful technology. And you have the ability where, you know, if everybody had a wallet and everything, you could have your paycheck go directly to your Bitcoin account or whatever. It would be great. You wouldn't need a bank anymore. You would only need banks for lending. Which would be great, because really, when you think about it, that banks have been a little predatory lately with the other services that they provide. Now we have this technology that can provide it for free, literally for free. And the only thing that's between us and that is the United States government saying, okay, let's make a stable coin backed by dollars. That's it. And then it's going to be great, right? But the cryptocurrency aspect of it, we should have our own currency, and the world economy should be based on this currency that we made, is a bad idea. Gold is a derivative of feathers and pretty shells. Is that how gold is made? I thought that gold was made in stars, and that's why it's much more rare. Well, we came back here a little bit, but now I'm looking at 24 and it looks attractive to me. When we came back down, we didn't really have a huge change in volume. I don't know. I'm not getting like a clear signal though. What about this over here? I need to change up the size of my charts isn't quite right, I think. Okay. So with this one, okay, something crazy is happening. The E-mini is really buying. Well, as much as I am disappointed that I wasn't able to get that sell, the E-mini appears to have really turned around here today. What we call stocks now were called shares in the past. Why? Well, I think that may just be an etymology change, but I think what you might be getting at is that people don't typically actually own shares anymore. Like, it used to be that the reason you would do it is because then you would have a voting place on the board, and you had a place in the company. And now these days, people don't buy stocks to do that sort of a thing. Only activist investors do. I still call them shares, I guess. But let's not let words get in the way of communication. Let him make his point. Let's play along. Let him make his point. I think that's what he's getting at, though, right? Is that people don't really care about the actual ownership share in the company and the control that it gives you over decision making, or at least the vote that it gives you over decision making. It actually is starting to behave okay at 23. You could potentially take it at 23, but I'm just not. It's not extreme enough. Oh, you know what I'm missing? I'm missing missing this CCI that I stuck on this chart for my strategy. Adaptive CCI. Cool. All right. So adaptive CCI says that we are quite sold, but not as sold as we were on that last move down. So, curious. They changed the name to stocks to give validity in the minds of people, as stock refer to commodities. Maybe. Not digging on him. He seems to know his shit. I wouldn't touch crypto from a trading perspective, but that doesn't make him stupid or wrong. Yeah, I agree. There's a reason why share buybacks used to be illegal. That's an interesting topic. I don't. So there's an idea running around out there that this market has been pumped up by share buybacks. Yeah. And the only reason it's up is because these companies are buying back their shares. And that when they're done, it's just going to collapse. I don't agree with that. In my mind, a share buyback is the same thing as giving your investors a dividend, except for that it's tax-free. Well, it's not tax-free, but you know, when you get taxed on the dividends differently, and so they're using it to avoid some taxes. That's why they do it as a buyback. But it doesn't like pump markets up or anything like that. It's a good thing. If your company is making more money than it needs, then it should be giving that money back to the shareholders, and the shareholders can reinvest that elsewhere, or use that to increase their share of the company. That's the way it should work. Should they be able to get around the taxes? I don't think that they could maybe make buybacks illegal. I don't think it would really matter too much to me. It's an interesting thought, though. I want to bet if Elizabeth Warren hasn't already put that in one of her plans, I don't think that she has, that maybe she will say that we shouldn't have stock buybacks. Then we'll see what people think. If Elizabeth Warren isn't on it, then I don't want any part of it. Okay, so the E-mini took a little bit of a turn there. I'm tempted to sell the E-mini now. No, I don't know. They're not as low as they were on Friday. Treasuries are kind of giving me that look. I don't think that I like 24 though. I feel like I'm kind of looking for a trade rather than being like, this is a good spot. Look at ES though. There was definitely a change in momentum. Look, there's actually going to be making a new low in cumulative delta. All the companies do is announce share buybacks while the insiders sell into it and they issue more shares on the back end. There might be a way to do it that's fishy that I'm not aware of. But the overall concept is, I think, okay, like you should give back to your investors for sure. Okay. Aggressive sell at 24. Some news must have hit here. What was that? Russia's Putin says may meet Trump in Japan at G20 meeting next month. No, I don't think that was that. Well, they definitely liked something. I think that the stock market is going up because when you buy back your shares, that increases the value of the shares because there's less of them out there. I think it's that simple. And I have to look back into this thing you're saying that the insiders sell into it and they issue more shares on the back end. I mean, if they're doing a buyback, but then they're actually issuing more shares behind the scenes, then that's a little different, because don't they have to announce, when they're going to issue more shares and stuff like that? I don't think that that's actually been happening. Okay, I really want to know what happened there. That was a weird move. Yeah, where do those behind the scenes shares trade? If you issue new shares, then everybody would know, because they have to announce it. You can't just create new shares. How would you even, if they were issuing new shares behind the scenes, like through some sort of backroom deal, how would you even get those shares onto the exchange? Because they would have to have, the back office would have to have proof to be able to verify that those are actual shares that you had. That doesn't make sense to me. If you have 100 million shares, 100 USD, you pay 101 USD for one share, you increase the market cap by 100 million. Sure. Well, I mean, the price goes up for sure. The price goes up for sure. Market cap is, I think that people look at market cap as like an indicator of how much money a company is worth, and it's really not the case, because if a company decided that it needed to raise more money to fund their operations, then they would have to sell some shares, and the price would naturally go down, and the market cap would adjust. So you always kind of have to look at it as more of a trading level of, the number of shares out there times what the shares are worth, and not actually, a hard amount of money that's available to somebody or something, There appears to be some sort of an iceberg there at 22.5. Why do you think that CEOs take pay in shares? Well, I think there's 3 reasons. Number one, because they can only pay them so much in a regular salary, and so for them to really make money, you got to give them shares, and you usually want to give them some sort of exotic option or something like that, then they can really make money, right? Number 2, it potentially ties your performance to the actual performance of the company. So there's kind of like a cultural reason that we like to pay CEOs in shares. But then also, if they leave the company, they can still benefit from what they did, even if they were like weren't a very good CEO. The CEOs still get pretty big pay, still get a pretty big salary, which is something I think is kind of one of the big problems that we have right now in our society. Why is it, the way that I look at it, it seems to me like the economy is saying that the value of these workers, like the CEOs and some other really high net worth individuals, people in the political sphere, these sorts of things, that their value to the economy is a ton, and the value of all these other people that are just, middle class workers is not worth nearly as much. And I don't know, when I've worked at companies, I've always felt like that a lot of the head honchos are just constantly screwing things up. You ever get that feeling? Where it's like, the people in charge here just don't know what they're doing, or they seem to have some big plan, but it's all just platitudes and it's not actually going to cause any kind of change in the way that we do things. I like this iceberg at 22.5. I kind of want to buy it, but I know that there's news coming up here, right? Yes, business inventories. We're looking for a reading of 0, spot 0 for the business inventories, and the housing market index, we're looking for a reading of 64. And Kaze, the bird in the background, sounds very, very upset. He can hear me, and he's mad that I'm not out there talking to him. All right, here we go. Okay, so there wasn't much of a reaction to that news. I haven't gotten the number yet. Okay, business inventories was 0. And the housing market index is 66 versus an expected 64. Okay, so pretty close to inline. How unusual of a move is that? That's actually, they can have much larger, they can be overshoot or undershoot it by 10 points. So that's 2 points is pretty close. So hence no reaction. Lighthizer to talk USMCA China with House Democrats. Mnuchin says in serious talks with China to improve trade ties. Okay, so that must be why the E-mini. I think that must be what it was. And I will link this. It must be this one that I will put in Discord. Okay, so if that's true, there, and the news didn't change anything there. Sentiment may be bullish in equities, or might need to be careful about buying treasuries here. Oh, I know what's missing. I know what's missing now, folks. What's the indicator that I don't have? It's that open range. Lizard indicators. Opening range. Chart time. 6:20 to 7 o'clock. Good. Yes. Okay, so the open price was 23.5, which is about where we are. We're just a little bit below it. And given that we've had like 2 moves up there, they might try selling the other side of this. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, not a lot of delta short on that move down. So people were buying this on the way down. Okay, so who were we saying here? Performance is down and they still paying shares, right? Well, this is a problem with the the problem that I see is that the average investor does not have as much control in the business dealings of a company as they should. You get a vote, but the board has too much power, has too much power and influence, and I think that it should be more common occurrence that shareholders say, hey, our CEO is paid too much, our board is paid too much, and our people that actually are generating revenue for the company should be paid more. I think so. Stock buyback at over 1 trillion per year. The interest rates are the lowest in human history, and the debt is the highest. Does that sound stable to you? Yes. So, of course, the debt is going to be higher because the GDP is higher. Now, the debt per capita, or like a debt as a percentage of GDP, rather, it is relatively high, but it is not historically high. It was worse during World War II. And there are many countries that have much higher debt to GDP ratios and are just fine. And hopefully, next time around, now that they have the military spending out of the way, I'm hoping that Congress will start to chisel away at the other stuff so that we can get the deficit under control. But
order pending.
Okay, so my robot just took something. What did it do? It went short there. Interesting. That's very interesting. It's coming back here. Why am I not seeing it? I need to this thing where it's like it doesn't tick when it's not in focus. I need to fix that with the indicator. So it wants to go short, which is interesting. This is around the same time that it tried to do it yesterday. Soon the interest on the national debt will be higher than what we make per year. Will it? They defaulted on the Social Security Disability Fund a few years ago. I think, well, Social Security is a little... Congress hasn't been managing that very well, have they? But I do not believe that the debt is an immediate concern. Could be a concern if Congress doesn't get their act together. I've skipped a few frames today, sorry. I wonder, am I using the right encoder and everything? Yeah, no, it should be fine. I don't know why I skipped some frames. Maybe I need to just build a stream machine. Okay, well, 23. So the thing is that when we were here, I was thinking, hey, maybe I could go long. I see the absorption, but there's some momentum and I'm going to stay out. Now that my robot has taken a short, and that strategy has been doing pretty good. I mean, I shadowed a trade with it yesterday with my live account and it worked. I'm not too confident about this one, so I think that I'm just out. So I took 2 ticks today and that's it, maybe. But I mean, as much as it moved today, I think that that's actually okay. And that and the fact that my charts were all screwed up. Ugh. Indicators, opening range. I need to get rid of this thing right here, and I need to save the template. There we go. So the low of this opening range is 21.5. So are they going to try and sell into 21.5? Well, I am noticing that there's not as much liquidity below us as there has been on some of these stacks above us. That is hitting the hockey stick moment. I'm really just not too terribly concerned about the debt. I mean, even if we had a recession, I think that the debt would probably be okay. Hyperinflation can begin at 80% debt to GDP. Yeah, but there's some of these European countries that are like over 100%, aren't they? Let's go and see. Debt to GDP per country. 2019 World Population Review. Okay. Let's move this up so that we're not hiding our DOMs. Because I know on replay that's really irritating. Okay. So, Japan has a 234% debt to GDP ratio. Is that like a complete disaster in Japan? Why don't people talk about the impending disaster in Japan due to their ridiculous debt to GDP ratio? Wonder if there's an answer to that. I've never heard anybody talk about that. Well, most of the other countries that are up here aren't very good. Okay, but here's the United States. Ooh, we're definitely up there. Not as high as Italy or Greece, of course. But I don't think we want to be Italy or Greece, do we? And we could definitely get there very quickly. Okay, Belgium and France, they have pretty high ones. They're at 100. So really, the United States is at 109%. That's interesting. Japan is dead because their population is failing. I mean, that is a problem over there. I don't know if it's like the end of the world for them or anything, but the thing is that you can kick the can down for a really long time. They sell more adult diapers than children diapers? Really? You've got an interesting that I've never heard before. I need to fix this chart. Get rid of that. Okay. Slowly fixing everything. Definitely feels more right now that I have my opening range thing on there. But this short that the robot took doesn't seem to be working too well for him right now. Yep, he just lost 4 ticks on it, in fact. And I'm going to guess that it's going to hold until... no, wait. I think I have a 5-tick stop on it. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure there is a hard stop on it somewhere, though. But it's going to just close at 8:30. I read that in the coming years, there will be more dead people on Facebook than alive people. What? What's going on here in ES? There was a gap there. I'm seeing gaps.
Order filled.
Okay, so it just dumped. It just jumped out of that position. Something's going on. Minution on China deal, there's still a lot of work to do. You need an increasing population to service that. Well, that's definitely true. There's definitely a problem there. Man, look at this thing go. Okay, what did he just say? Trump plans to delay imposing tariffs on auto imports. Fucking wild. And my robot just took it off. That's funny. See, I think that I have a really good strategy, but I think that it's a lot of work still. That one. Because I'm just watching it, and sometimes it takes trades that I'm like, no. Okay, so we are down below this. I'm thinking about taking one. If I can get a clear spot here, maybe at 22. Nope. Oh, of course, because I don't have it as a auto right here. Okay, it's fine. I wouldn't have given it to me anyways. Yeah, that's why governments are supporting mass immigration. Well, I think that we'll be able to deal with it. It's just they're going to have to reform the entitlement plans. You're going to have an entitlement plan that works when the population is stable and not just growing, right? I mean, we could see the low of the day now because of this news. Plans to delay by up to 6 months. This is a scary move, to be honest. Mm-hmm. These offers are pulling because they want fills. But I'm afraid that that it could just, flip right through them. Now, where is the E-mini going to go because of this? Could we just buy the E-mini and take it long here? I think I would rather do this. Because there's a pretty big iceberg at 20. Probably some profit taking going on here. Automation is going to replace 50% of existing jobs. I'm not too concerned about automation either. Ooh, that was a strong uptick. It was too strong. That uptick is suspicious. Okay, well, but they took it. Okay, I like the way that I got filled. The down tick was a little bit too easy and it didn't just go. 5 years not quite cooperating yet. Okay. Okay. So I got a good, got an okay positioning at least. Already have +1. And it's going offer. So that's really great. And so here comes another buying rush in the E-mini, I think. Is the 5 year gonna, okay, yeah, 5 years starting to cooperate a little bit. Okay. Well, it's going back and forth there at 21.5 all ton. Okay. So reset this so we can see. Okay. There's a lot trading back and forth here in the 5 year as well. Okay, so that's the first time that I think I've seen it stack over 1,000. 21 goes offer for a moment. Very brief though. I pray I'm dead before then, Uzi. No, I would really like to see some plans that are like, because the thing is that like at the end of 100 years, world population is going to be stagnant at that point, right? Like the way it's going to work is that a lot of those developing countries are then going to stabilize their populations as well. So now it's just not, you're not going to be able to import people anymore, right? So at some point, the governments are going to have to say, if we're going to have these programs, well, and even with the way that the economy works, you're going to have a society that doesn't rely on population growth. Is it possible? I mean, I don't really know, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. But there's going to have to be some new ideas. But those are going to be problems that our, great grandchildren are going to have to deal with. And, okay, so I don't like that it upticked there. The E-mini did kind of come back a little bit. 22 is kind of going bid. But I think I'm okay. It still looks like it's luring. I should definitely be careful though. Curious that I only got 2 ticks favorable excursion here so far, even though I think that my fill was really, really good. The 5-year actually, the volume has actually been long in the 5-year. That's curious as well. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Technology is speeding up, not slowing down. Yeah, it'll be like Star Trek. All of the robots will do all of the work, and everything will be so cheap. You'll only have to work like 8 hours a week. It'll be okay, guys. Okay, 21 went pulled there. ES is not quite. I think ES could have another run up. Could have another bullish move here, but they're not ready to do it quite yet. But the volume and everything appears to be like something that there's going to be another wave. As computational power rises, so does automation, and it is rising exponentially. It's just, you got to think about it. It's just like the Industrial Revolution, right? Like people didn't know how to deal with the Industrial Revolution, but it was fine. There will be different work that will open up, and things will be cheaper. So it will very much be the case, I believe, that you simply just won't need to make as much money because things won't be as expensive. Well, I'm like kind of looking at where my target is. 19.5 was the low from that move. I'm not seeing liquidity there. In fact, overall, I think that the DOM has lightened up a little bit. We're kind of in this range. I might want to just take the range. I still think that the E-mini could have a boost in it coming. But I think that I'm hanging in here on this thing based off of, I should just move this. Based on good positioning and not necessarily based on something that has a good probability of moving my way. Of course, they're probably going to fill me here and then they'll go right through me and I'll regret buying it, but taking it off. But that is assuming the rich are going to give up their power. No, they will. Uh, the rich will definitely be a very, very rich with automation. So this is going to be like, if you own the stuff, then you make a ton of money. But like I said, things are going to be so cheap. It's going to be like the poor of the future are going to be like people that are going to have the quality of life that people that are making six figures have today, because things will be so cheap, especially housing. When the material and printing revolution and everything comes to house building, the price of housing is going to decline so dramatically. Okay, cool. I feel better. That was starting to make me a little bit uneasy, but... And like I said, it's just going to go right through me now. Yep. Could have had +3. Probably could have had +4, 5, 6. Like, there's that boost at the E-mini that I was looking for. Well, I think that I should just stay out. I think, even though I made 2 good trades today and everything, and I'm really happy with my trading today, I think I've been a little bit wobbly. Like, you notice I've been having a hard time keeping up with the conversation with you guys, and been having a hard time because my charts here were all screwed up. And so I think it's okay that I took a small little winner there. It actually was only worth one more tick than that. For now, I could still be sitting in it and wondering if I should take it off at 20. Yeah, look at that. That move in the E-mini disappointed them a little bit, I think. Like, the rush came in, but they didn't make a new high. Trump making concession on EU trade war front as he anticipates a longer, more painful China trade war. I see. Okay, so what's going on here is he's backing off of doing anything with the European Union, which was the plan was to do auto tariffs and to force them into doing stuff. And now they're saying they're not going to do that because they cannot fight both of the EU and China at the same time. And so he is going to put anything with Europe on hold for now. And that is why they're moving them. So this definitely would justify the kind of move that we just saw. I don't know if it really should change our valuation on treasuries long term, though. Because it's still, the China thing is the big deal. And there's still a very high probability that we have to cut, right? Do you see the SWIFT system is piloting blockchain using R3? That is why XRP is rising. I think XRP is rising because the whole cryptocurrency market is rising. Personally, just personally, that's why I think. Why is this not pulling me my right one? Let's redo our. So here I have a tick chart. Okay. New chart. BTC. Should actually be a volume chart. Okay. Cool. And is 1,000 volume enough? Apparently. I think that I should make my data series go back like as far as I can. 90, let's say. Yes. Perfect. Yeah. So anyways, I'm just, when Bitcoin is moving up the way that it has been, I can't, They all move together. There's so much correlation with the cryptocurrency market. Trump and a small group of aides, including Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross and Trade Advisor Peter Navarro, are seen to be in favor of the new import duties against the advice of other advisors. So they're having like a press conference right now? Look at that. They pushed it back up and then they dumped it. Because I was short from 22, wasn't I? 22. So there's my 4, 5, 6, yeah. Should have been more patient. I don't know. But they did. They came back. They came back to my price. Interesting. No, they didn't actually tick into it. You know what, though? It's so volatile. I think that maybe I was okay to have done what I did. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. 4 ticks. $62. Oh well. I shouldn't beat myself up too bad about it. But I was right. The E-mini did come through with another push up, and man. When I look back at this, that trade was fucking amazing. And I screwed the exit. Wow. Like, it played out exactly the way that I thought it was, and if I had just been a little bit more patient, I definitely would take it off with these icebergs at 19, though. So that could have been, you know, a six tick trade. IQ says you should have shorted the ZV, right? How much did ZV come down there? So I could have gotten the VWAP at 26. Would have been worth a little bit more. I could have also have bought E-minis. I mean, I was sitting there thinking about buying E-minis. How much would that have given me in E-minis? It would have given me 10 points. So that could have given me, well, if it's $1 a tick, then 10 points is like $40. So it could have been nice. Not as nice as the Treasuries, but I don't know. I'm on a pretty good win streak in past 2 weeks, though. So I'm happy about that. It's also interesting to me that my robot took trades where it did. It's not terribly positive for the robot, but it's interesting where it did it. And it did it close to the same time that it did it yesterday. So we should watch that. Oh, Shalon says, thanks for the chat. See you guys later. Hey, thank you for stopping by. By the way, I have to apologize because you said a lot of things that I would like to have responded to a little bit better, and we could have had like a more, better back and forth conversation, but I'm just a little distracted and off today, so I'll apologize for that. But thank you for stopping by. Hope that, you've liked and subscribed and everything, and that we see you tomorrow. So. The negative spin here is that Trump must believe the battle with China will be a prolonged one and that he doesn't want to fight on two fronts. Yes, that's exactly it. It's not necessarily a positive thing for markets, is it? The robots The robots definitely took their trade. I mean, the ES definitely liked it, didn't they? Oh, I shouldn't try moving this, but yeah, it seems like the reaction was almost immediately long. It was. So here's another thing. That is a signal. The thing that I entered in on that is something that I've seen many times and has tricked me into going long, in fact. And I recognized it this time and took it short. And that's the first time that I've ever done that. And it worked out amazing. Well, maybe that means that they're not going to pull that one anymore. But wow, I really enjoyed that. I would go back and look at that one on replay and look at what the level 2 did there. Because there was a pretty strong tick, and I said, that's not right. And I took it short, and it worked out. Shouldn't be mad though. Like two tick trades is still good. It's not an 8-ticker. I would really like to get an 8-ticker on this, but so Wednesday. So we kind of expected to see some market movement on today, but then all of the news kind of made it kind of weird. And I was much more cautious than I normally would be because of the volatility. I think that I did the right things there because when I took that long, it was pretty much at the top and it fell down. This moved down. I'm not sure that I could have seen the push below is definitely would have been hard to see. How come I don't have the how do I get it to not show those stupid price markers? There we go. Anyways, so I think that I took the right trades. I think I managed my risk correctly. I do think I could have made more today. Maybe I could have made 8 ticks. But I think I'm trading really well. And you know what else was that I felt a little scatterbrained and I still got them good. So that's nice, right? Okay, well, so now would be a good time to post my cryptocurrency notes. While I'm doing that, I just was wondering, the other day I made like a stream highlight video or like that little thing about Game of Thrones. And I really wanted to do it just because I know that there's going to be a lot of search traffic about Game of Thrones. But also I've been wanting to do highlights for a long time, like especially if I get like a really good trade or something like that. And I know, you know, it did okay, but I'm wondering is for you guys in chat, do those things interest you? Did you like the way that I did that? Or is it just kind of like, well, I already saw that, so I don't really care to listen to it again. Because that's kind of the thing I'm wrestling with right now is I really want to do it because I want to have content for people that aren't going to sit here and watch the whole session. But it's a lot of work too, and I don't have the time to do it every day, you know. Not getting a new number on Bitcoin, but we're like up here. You still with me here? I think my my thing is being weird. I think Restream might be there we go. Okay, yeah, because Uzi is saying some stuff and it just wasn't showing it to me. Stream highlights are always a good idea, especially with hot topics, should help increase traffic in the long run. I agree. So the one that I was going to do yesterday was, should we even be doing trade with China? And I got through, like, I was able to pull the clip out pretty easily, but I just didn't have the time to, like, make a nice picture and everything like that. But if we catch a good trade, I'm definitely going to start pulling. Well, and the other thing is I didn't record the whole thing. I only recorded that one spot. So tomorrow, let's, like, record to disk the whole thing. And yeah, I wish that YouTube had a better system for making highlights, because in YouTube you have to do it like as you're doing it, which really sucks. Really sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's look at these cryptocurrencies. Today is the 15th. I did not realize. I'm excited because I tend to pay my bills on the 15th. And I paid off my bed last month. So I don't have to deal with that. And I'm just happy that that was basically like the last piece of, like, debt. And I'm super stoked about it. Dash DCR looks normal. Doge is just getting even more crazy. Doge looks overbought to me. ETC looks like it might be coming down. If we see, like, a big bull run in ETC, then I'm definitely going to start being like, okay, something's going on here, folks. Okay, Litecoin. I kind of wonder because, I post these every day and everything. And if you were a whale, and I wouldn't doubt that among the 20 or so subscribers that I have, that maybe one of them was a whale, that they could try and mess with us and stuff, But if they do, it would, in the long run, it's going to screw them over, right? Because eventually value is going to take over. It's just a question of how long. Alligator says, support here could stay above context, far from great, though. Right. Well, they definitely came back from the 19. The thing is if I, it's still not, like, trending. I could have taken it off at 19, for sure. But if I had missed that one and I had said, oh yes, now it can go for even more, it can go down to 16.5, I would have lost all the profits and I would have ended up taking +2 in the end anyways. So that's interesting. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, what's here? IQ says 18 equals the 50% retracement ZB and support is 19 area. Okay, well, I think that the E-mini could move a little bit higher here, but this is the action that happened here today is going to be is really going to mess up the charts, because if I can come over here to the chart, it failed here when I'm looking at it from a volume profile perspective and everything like that. I can see, okay, here's a value area right here. And then yesterday, there was one right here. And then today, they made an attempt to go back down to this value area right here, right? But it was rejected, is what they're going to say. So what the technicals is going to say is that it was rejected. But when I look at it from a more fundamental position, the trade war with China is still on and appears that it could be much protracted. Pretty good chance that it's going to go beyond the next election. It could go even longer than that. It could go through all of Donald Trump's term. And so that's not, in the long run, more positive. And so maybe we could see something like, we'll come back up to 2880 or like this area right here. And maybe they'll test that and that will become the range. They'll probably try and test that and get rejected. So we could have some weird, trading could be weird the next few days. Anyways, by the way, one other thing is the comments that I've been getting on the videos. I love the comments. You guys are so much fun with the comments. So it's great. I love it. Keep doing it every day. So just as a reminder here, you know, you scroll down the video. Let's put in my comment right now. Here's my live stream. Oh, I think we got a couple of people watching on Twitch. Is it Twitch? Yeah, we got a couple of people watching on Twitch today. So thank you for watching on Twitch. Anyways, so we'll scroll down here and we got the comments, and we'll say, wow, I expected some moves because it's when, but that news was crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, please leave a comment on the video about how your day was or what you thought about the action, and give the video a like if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I will try. I don't know if there's really something that I want to highlight from today, but I'll try and get that yesterday's rant up because I think that was important. I did say a lot of stuff, but I didn't record it all, so I'll do that tomorrow. I'll make sure I remember to do that. So yeah, I think that's about it. I don't see. I really want to stay in trade because I'm sure that there could be more opportunity today, but I think I should go into work now. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I've had a lot of fun today. I'll see you tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.